Welcome back to Next Step Credit Repair's YouTube channel. We're back with another video. Make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you comment. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure that you ring that notification bells to get notified for whenever we drop new content. Today we're going to be talking about how to build credit, right? And how to rebuild your credit after having bad credit. So if you're somebody who's never had credit before, we're going to talk about that. And if you're somebody who's had credit, but you've previously messed it up and you want to know how to rebuild your credit profile, we're going to talk about that in today's video. So we're probably going to spend about 10 minutes on credit building and about 10 minutes on credit rebuilding. So this will be a great video and a great listen. So let's get right into it. So for all my people out there who don't have any credit whatsoever, or maybe you have a teenager who is turning 18 and you really want to help them build his credit, or if you're somebody who's been into your adult life but you've never really used credit before, this part is especially for you, so make sure that you listen up, okay? So there are a couple of ways to start off building your credit. One of the most notable ways and fastest ways is to get somebody that you know to add you as something called an authorized user on their credit card, okay? But there's a couple of things to keep in mind when you're adding people as an authorized user on your card. Number one, we need to pick a card that they have that has impeccable credit history, meaning they've never been late, right? Meaning that their credit usage history is pretty good, and meaning it's a card that they don't really use that much, or they're using less than 3% of the available balance on. So that's going to be the fastest, quickest way, is to find a family member or a friend to add you as an authorized user, right? Or to my parents out there, if you have a kid that's turning, 18 or close to it, and you have impeccable credit history, that's the one thing that you can pass down to somebody else. So authorized user accounts are going to be number one. Number two is going to be secured credit card accounts through your bank. So really important to understand that you can get a secured credit card while having no credit. I'd highly recommend maybe going to your bank to do this, right? Rather than finding a credit card on the internet, because relationships are important as you grow, right? So having a good banking relationship and starting off to build credit through a secured credit card with your bank is really important. So what'll happen is that they will ask you to deposit a small amount on to a savings account, generally anywhere between $200 to $500, right? And that will act as your credit card limit until they actually give you credit, until they actually extend unsecured credit to you. Okay. So that's really, really, really important to understand, is that you are going to be using some of your own money in order to secure a credit card. And that's okay, right? Sometimes we got to put up our own money in order to build credit. And that's all right, because sometimes people don't give us credit right off the bat, right? But the important thing is for you to understand, if your credit limit is $200, don't spend more than $20 a month on it. If it's $300, don't spend more than $30 a month on it. If it's $400, no more than $40. And if it's $500, no more than $50. But you do want to show usage on this secured credit card. So just don't spend a ton on it, right? Try to keep your usage about 3 to 9%, I would say. All right. So that's really magic number there if you have a secured credit card. And after 3 to 6 months, they're going to reevaluate your secured credit card and how you've been using it. And if you've been doing good, you've been responsible, and your credit score has increased since when you got this secured credit card, they're going to increase your credit limit for you. Right. The other thing is that credit builder loans, right? A lot of banks do something called a credit builder loan. Well, they will add a certain amount of line of credit to your credit report with a balance, and every month you'll pay a small amount, anywhere from $10 to $25 a month, where you'll pay that back each month, and it'll help you build payment history. Payment history is important because it controls 35% of your overall credit score, or the equivalent to 192.5 points, okay? Your job is to build your credit from 300 to 550. So if you're taking advantage of the 192.5 and then the 162 we just talked about from the credit card, you've already built up a tremendous amount of points. Right? You're somewhere in the high sixes. And if you haven't ran your credit anything but with the secured credit card and the credit builder loan, well, then you're less than 2 hard inquiries a year, which means you're going to get those 55 points as well. Right? And your length of credit history will get there as you continue to build it. And the longer that you have credit, you're going to grab points from there. Okay, so just keep in mind a credit builder pledge loan is pretty good too. So those are 3 really great things that you can do. You can also get something called credit builder accounts, right? And there's a list of credit builder accounts that I'm going to be going over here shortly. One of them is called Kickoff, right? Kickoff is an online credit building store that will allow you multiple accounts and even a secured credit card to help build your credit. Another one is called Self-Lender. Self-Lender acts as the same thing, right? Except they act as a CD loan savings where you're going to save a certain amount of money, generally anywhere between $520 to $1,500. And you will pay that back monthly, and monthly installment payments ranging anywhere between $25 and $1,500. Okay. And then you have Credit Strong, who offers you individual lines of credit or individual savings. You also have Covo Credit, who offers you a line of credit as well. And we'll talk about that here shortly. But those are really some other options that you can use in order to build new credit for somebody who does not have any credit yet. Okay. And let's move on to the next topic. How do we rebuild credit after we've already had credit, right? Always a question that I always get. One of the things I would encourage somebody who's already had credit to do is to review your credit report. If there's anything credit card wise that's unpaid on your credit report, right, I'd advise you to either settle that account or pay it in full, right? Depending on if you want a relationship with that creditor again. If you want a relationship with that creditor again, it's going to be very important that you pay it in full. If you're not interested in a relationship with that creditor again, go ahead and settle it out for a discount. And, generally after a couple of years, they'll offer you a card again. Sometimes they won't because you left a balance and you took a discount on it, but it just depends, right? So use those 2 things to your advantage when you're rebuilding your credit profile. If you're rebuilding, I always say start with some of those credit builder loans that we talked about with the Kickoff, with the Covo Credit, with the Self-Lender, with the Credit Strong, right? And even so much as a secured credit card, if you've never had a credit card with your bank, go get one, right? If you have and you mess that up, there's always secondary sites like First Progress, right? Open Sky, right? Capital One secured credit card. Discover has a secured credit card as well. Credit One Bank has a secured credit card. I think most credit card companies offer a secured credit card, and it's just showing them that, hey, listen, I am willing to rebuild my credit even if it costs me my own money, right? So super duper important. All right, so that's the number 1 thing. The second thing you want to look at on your credit report when you are rebuilding your credit, because you've had previous credit before, is wet signature personal loans. We talked about that in the last video. So do you have any personal loans that is outstanding? Right, super duper important. And again, it goes back to the same thing I said. Do you wish to have another relationship with this creditor? Right? If you don't, settlement is fine. But if you do, paying in full makes sense. So make sure that you look on your credit report for any wet signature personal loans that you've had, right? The other thing is looking at car loans that you had. Have you had any repossessions? Have you had, a balance that you left over from a car accident that maybe necessarily you didn't have gap insurance for? Look into that. If there is something like that, definitely. Same thing. Let's get it settled. Let's get it paid. That is going to help show more paid off accounts on your credit report than unpaid off accounts. And that's ultimately what we want when we are rebuilding credit. Because a lot of times when people are rebuilding credit, they still have positive credit on their credit report. A lot of times they just don't have enough. So we're simply adding, right? And we're also subtracting with the repair, but we're also paying, right? We're also doing some paybacks of some things that we necessarily let go by the wayside, right? And that's okay as well, right? So in this next video, we're going to talk about and we're going to visit those sites. So it's going to be back to back, probably just going to connect it to this video, but let's go on the Covo Credit website. Let's go on the Kickoff website. Let's check out some of these websites and let's get back into it. All right, so let's talk about Kickoff.com and how it helps you. Again, as I mentioned earlier, Kickoff is an online credit builder, right? And if you look right here, ultimately on their website, let me move this out the way for us. You can see you build credit with Kickoff. It's no credit check. You can open up account in minutes, right? In the average of 28 points after the first month of kickoff, right? That's pretty good. So when we're talking about adding points to your score, adding an average of 28 points to Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian is really, really good. And we can go right here and see that Kickoff also offers a secured credit card, right? So you can absolutely get a secured credit card. It's $200, right? You deposit it on this card and they send you a card in the mail that you can build credit with, right? When we talk about pricing, right? If you talk about it, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 compared to, right, structured or secured installment credit builder loans on average run like this, and competitor secured credit cards kind of run like this. So you can see percentage wise, Kickoff is kind of beating out the competition as far as accounts go. So this is definitely an account that I recommend. Right? But $5 a month is their lowest plan, right? But you can get it all the way up to 30. So you can get a $2,500 line of credit for $20, a $3,000 line of credit for $30 a month. And all it does is take that $30, puts it into a savings. At the end of the 12 months, it's just going to give you your money back. Whether that's $60, $240, or $360, they're just going to give you your money back and you can put it right back into your account, right? So that's a really, 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 good, credit builder account that I would say go after, go get. If you're either building your credit or rebuilding your credit, that's something that I would put on my credit report. The next one I wanted to talk to you guys about is SelfLender, right? Self is again, a credit building account, right? And what it allows you to do is it takes a CD account, put your savings, each month you're going to make a payment, right? And every month it's going to put it into a savings for you. And you can also even get paid off of it. So if you know somebody else who's either struggling with credit or you know somebody else who doesn't have any credit, send them your promo code, get a $10 check in the mail or get it deposit right into your bank account. But they have a credit builder loan. They also have a secure credit card and they also do rent and billing reporting too. So if you want a price breakdown of how their plans work, the smallest plan they got is $25. The largest plan they got is $150. So you're just going to pay that for a 24-month average, right? And at the end of the 24 months, you're just going to have an established credit if you were doing the $35 one of $717. But let's say you were doing the one that was $150, right? You would have an established credit of $3,069, right? So $150 a month for 24 months. Each month, you're going to build credit history with the 3 credit bureaus. And at the end of it, you're going to have a secured credit card of $3,069, which is pretty good, right? So even if, like I said, you do the smallest one, a $511 one, you don't have to do the secured credit card. You can always get your money back in a check if you really, really want to, or you can put it on a secured credit card and have another line of credit, ultimately reporting to your credit report, all right? The next thing we're going to talk about is Covo Credit, right? I love Covo Credit, right? They're just like Kickoff, right? But they're going to build credit with rewards. So it's no credit check, no hidden fees. They're going to give you an instant approval. So long as you're not in bankruptcy or anything like that, it's going to go really, really well for you. If you look, they impact, ultimately, I apologize about that. But if you look, they impact all 3 credit bureaus. They're actually going to build your FICO score. You're going to get rewards. You can even, as far as reach your goals. So that's something you could also do. So if you look at impact all 3 credit bureaus, it's going to build your score up. It's going to save you on interest and payments. So you have some things here that you can do. All right. And you can give yourself really the credit that you deserve. So highly recommend. These are some of the reviews that they've had over time. It's really simple on how it works. You just apply, right? So you're going to build with an installment credit, right? It's going to grow over 24 months, right? You can refer a friend and get $30 each time, right? And you can unlock boosts for credit, building in credit protection, which is really, really good. And it's going to help you out with your FICO score. So again, another fantastic website. If you're looking to build credit with, I highly recommend Covo Credit. They're really, really good when it comes to that. All right. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about Credit Strong. All right. All right. So if you look, Credit Strong can build personal and business credit. Right. So it can actually do both. So if you're somebody who has a business, right, personal and business credit is something that you can get right into, right? If we check out the products, they got revolving, installment, they got business, and they got Magnum. right? So essentially what I always recommend to my clients is the installment one. And you can see they have an average credit score increase of 45 points. So if we take Kickoff's 28 points, right? We take Kovo's credit on average of 40-some points. We take Credit Strong's average of 45 plus points, right? And we take the additional Kickoff loan for an average of another 24 points. You can see easily you can add 100 points to your credit report in no time, right? In absolutely no time. So, and like I said, if you have a business, even better, you can do 2, right? So building credit starts at just $28 a month. That's not bad, right? $28 a month to build some credit up. That's less than $1 a day. That's 80 cents a day. Right? When you're talking about building up your own credit profile, this is the one that, like I said, I recommend to my clients, right? You can absolutely do, a different one if that works out for your budget, but this is the one that I like the best. All right. And those are really the 4 things that you can use in order to boost up your credit. And like I said, you can always go to your bank for a secured credit card, whether you're building or rebuilding, it acts the exact same way. All right. So listen, guys, I appreciate you guys taking the time. Listening to this video. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, send this video to somebody else, right? It might help somebody else rebuild or build up their credit, right? Or just keep it for if you have kids and maybe you want to build up their credit one day, it'll work out. But listen, I'll catch you guys in the next video.